Yeah, hi. So what's up with these resistance bands? There's got to be something to them, right? Well, that's what we're discussing next here on Kerry's Corner. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning into Kerry's Corner. And I do have my Han Solo I Know tank top on. And I thought, you know what? I am going to do a product overview video today because I did mention in a previous circuit training video that if you didn't have free weights, you could certainly use resistance bands. So I thought, you know what, maybe I'll just go over some pros and cons to resistance bands and then summarize everything up at the end and give you my final thoughts. There are tons of resistance bands on Amazon, and the ones that I ended up buying were actually from a company called Fitness Insanity, and I loved the name. Now, the bundle that came with mine had obviously the resistance bands that you, once you put all the bands together, can give you up to 150 pounds of total resistance. And it divvies up each band 50 pound, 40 pound, 30 pound, 20 pound, and then a 10 pound. It also came with 2 handles, ankle straps, a instruction manual, and then it came with also like a shortcut exercise poster where you can kind of see what kind of exercises that you might want to work on and how really to use the straps accordingly. But the ones that I got weren't expensive at all, and again, I've been using them for a little bit now, and that's why ultimately I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this overview and tell you guys kind of how I feel about them. Okay, so before I go and give a small demonstration on the resistance bands, let me preface a few things. Resistance bands may not be for everybody. For example, if you are a bodybuilder, you probably need more than 150 pounds of resistance to achieve your fitness goal. I have a fitness physique, not a bodybuilder physique. There is a difference. I just want to stay lean, toned, and strong and overall healthy. So these bands really help me do that without having to go into the gym, because around here the gyms are closed. So it helps me get to certain exercises and change up my exercise routine other than just having free weights. So, with a bodybuilder, you obviously need more weight and a higher range of weight to achieve that amount of muscle mass. So again, resistance bands may not be for everybody. Also, resistance bands come with a thing called a door anchor. This is the thing that wedges in the door so the bands don't snap back. Please, 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 this is a warning. If you get resistance bands, please read the instructions and follow the warnings. There are tons of videos out there where people either don't use the bands correctly, or the band fails, or some way, shape, or form, the band, one way, shape, or form, right? The band snaps back and hits them, and we don't want anyone to get hurt out there. So just keep that in mind, all right? So let me go demonstrate these bands for you for a little bit, and we'll come back and we'll summarize everything. Okay, so here are the resistance bands, and I have mine set up to where I'm using the 50 pound, the 40 pound, and the 10 pound resistance band. Handles on the end and the door anchor at the other end. So you just take the door anchor and you put it in the hinge of the door like so. Make sure the door's shut, and then you're all set to go. And the nice thing about resistance bands is there isn't a whole lot of tinkering with them to do multiple exercises. That's definitely an advantage. So, you can go from using this for triceps and then spinning around and then using it for a chest press. Now, there are exercises that you can do with resistance bands that don't even require a door. For example, put the resistance bands on the floor, you step on them, spread your feet slightly apart, and now you just curl with them. Now you're working them buys. Just keep curling, just like that. Or say, hey, you know what? It's shoulder day. Drop the one handle, keep stepping on it. Now you can do a military press, one arm military press. Okay? So resistance bands are really great and they're versatile. And trust me, especially in today's climate when gyms are closed and you don't know when you can get a good workout in, it's really good to have something useful like this being so versatile. Now, there are some cons. For example, for me, there's a slight learning curve. You have to find the sweet spot with resistance bands. In other words, when you anchor it to a door, the closer you are to that door, the more you have to move before that resistance kicks in. The further away from the door, the resistance actually, obviously, is almost immediate. So you have to find that spot where that resistance is more through the entire movement, all the way through the range of motion. So there is that slight learning curve. But all in all, with the versatility, minus that con, I still think, the resistance bands are a definite great tool to have at the home when you need to get a really good workout in. Okay, so let's summarize. Resistance bands, in my opinion, are a really great tool to have where, you can exercise almost anywhere. Your home, your office, your apartment, your buddy's place, your girlfriend's, wherever that may be. It really helps also to change things up in your exercise routine. Now, don't get me wrong, there are always pros and cons. For example, kind of like what I mentioned before, there's that sweet spot you have to find. Because again, the further out from the door you go, the resistance is like immediate and then you have a problem with getting your full range of motion. But if you're too close to the door, then the resistance doesn't kick in till almost halfway or however long through your rep. So you have to find that sweet spot. Another con is, unlike free weights, the resistance obviously gets harder the further out you go through the range of motion or through your rep. Whereas free weight, the weight is constant. You pick up a 40-pound dumbbell, that 40-pound never changes. So those are some cons with the resistance bands. However, the pros, the cost. I mean, the cost is minuscule. I think I paid between $20 or $25 for my resistance bands versus my Bowflex dumbbells, which I love and I would never, trade for the world. They were like $500 on sale, so they are definitely more expensive. Okay, and then think of the space saving. Those resistance bands can fit into a duffel bag or the little pouch that it comes with. I mean, you can throw it in your car, whatever. The space saving alone is just really, really great. But all in all, I think resistance bands are an amazing tool to add to your fitness regimen because you then can change things up and get to different exercises and different muscle groups that maybe you can't get to doing the things that you're doing now if you don't have free weights at home. So just keep that in mind. I think all in all, resistance bands are really great to have. And I'm going to put the link to the ones that I bought down in the descriptions area. Okay, so enough about the resistance bands. Let's talk about you. How are you doing this week? Have you been consistent with your diet and your exercise routine? I hope you haven't used that great excuse, hey, you only live once. Actually, you live many days. You only die once. Guys, you have to love your body. You have to want to do this fit thing, if for nothing else, your body alone. And remember, the difference between who you are and what you want to be is really the things that you do. You have to make sure that you are doing this for you. And persistence is the essence of strength. And with persistence comes consistency. And with consistency, your body will change. Guys, that's all I have for you. I really appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much for checking out Kerry's Corner. And until next time, be fit, get strong, stay healthy.